Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of Lancer 101. In today's episode, I will once again be teaching you on how to play Lancer. Specifically, on actions. So, actions, probably one of the most important aspects of mech combat that my viewers want me to talk about, are essentially, what you and your mech could do in combat. But since I'm compiling everything about pilot in a future video, all actions mentioned in this video will only be about mech actions. But before I talk about that, let's talk about action resolution. So, by now, you probably have noticed there's a trend in Lancer's combat rule that favors attacker more than defender. Basically, it's always easier to attack than to defend, and action resolution goes this way too. For example, if effects from attacker and defender are to occur at the same time, like say, at the start of your turn, the effect from attacker would resolve first. But besides that, just do things normally. And if you happen to have two effects from you that take place in the same time slot, just do it in any ways you want. If there's still any confusion, ask the GM for a final answer. Some effects start or end at the end of turn. These effects start or end at the end of a character's turn after everything has been resolved. This is the easier one to remember because the next thing I will talk about is end of next turn. So, an effect that ends on next turn, obviously ends at the end of next turn, which can be a bit confusing, but look, diagram, so let's do this step by step with multiple examples. The most common one is probably either you or your enemies cast an effect that ends on next turn on one another. If it's like this, then the effect would only end here, because this would be the enemy's next turn in term of turn order. But what if you cast the effect on yourself? Then it would pass through your turn, continue next round, then end at the end of your next turn. Then there's also the third, rarest example, in which it's your turn and someone casts the effect on you, possibly as a reaction. This effect will start on your turn immediately, continue next round, then end at the end of your next turn. Hopefully, with all the examples I listed, you won't be as confused about end of next turn as I did when I first started in Lancer. Anyway, let's actually talk about action. So, aside from a standard move, for every turn, a character will have one full action or two quick actions that can be spent on various actions. However, you cannot repeat the same action in a turn unless specified otherwise or granted as free action. There's also other types of action like reaction, but let's keep it brief and talk about quick action available to you, the player, or should I say, Lancer, first. First up, boost. Basically, if you think move isn't enough, you can move the second time in a turn with boost action. Some talents and systems also only activate when you boost, but you only really count as boosting if you move by even a square, keep that in mind. If you want to know more about boost or move, you can just read up the first episode of the Lancer 101, Rules of Gaming series. Second, Grapple, which is one of my favorite. Grapple allows a melee-focused striker to prevent a ranged character from running away to hack them into pieces. Grapple also allows a larger character to grab hold of a smaller character to move them into a very unfavorable area. It's an awesome way of controlling your enemy's movement. To initiate Grapple, you make a melee attack on a nearby character and on hit, both of you are now engaged, as if you weren't engaged for being so close already. Both of you are also unable to boost or make any reaction while grappling, so Grapple is useful in making reaction-focused characters to be nearly useless too. And in a grapple, the smaller character is fucked, usually. Because they will be immobilized, but the larger character can make them follow their move like tango. If the characters are both same size, then they both roll a contested hull check at the start of each other's turn, the winner counts as the larger character until the contest repeats. To end a grapple, you can either have both character break adjacency, like getting knocked back, have the attacker break the grapple with a free action, or have the defender break the grapple with a contested hull check as a quick action. And yes, multiple characters can get into a grapple, in which case characters on same side can add their size together and even overpower a larger character, usually. Third, hide, for those that like to be sneaky. Hide allows you to become a mech-sized solid snake, without requiring an equally large cardboard box. To hide, you must not be engaged, and are completely out of enemy's line of sight, usually by ducking behind cover, or become invisible. Hard cover is excellent for this, but for soft cover, you need to be deep inside one, like say a cloud of smoke. Some systems and talents provide soft cover, but only in the metaphorical sense, you can't use those to hide. and if you are invisible, you can just hide no matter where even without cover, unless you are engaged. When you are hidden, your exact location is now a complete unknown and therefore cannot be directly targeted by attacks or hostile actions. However, the enemy still can approximate where you are or were and just use attacks that target an entire area, like attack with line, cone, blast, or burst pattern, because if you can't tell where the enemy is, just delete the entire grid square they could be in. Also, when you are hidden, other characters ignore engagement with you, because you are trying to be sneaky. You break hidden when you make an attack or a hostile action, same goes for boost or reaction. All other actions can be taken as normal. You also break hidden when your cover got destroyed or disappeared, or when someone sees you via line of sight, either on theirs or your turn. If you are hiding while invisible, you only lose hidden when you lose invisibility. Next up, quick tech. Basically, techno magic, or future techie bullshit, or literal reality bending shenanigan. When you use quick tech, you can choose one of the many options you have in the quick tech list. Also, you can in fact repeat quick tech action in the same turn unlike almost all other actions. However, you cannot repeat the same quick tech options you have. Like say, you have chosen to invade with quick tech, you cannot choose to invade again with quick tech. This is true unless specified otherwise, or the quick tech is granted as a free action. Anyway, to use quick tech, pick one of the following actions. First, Bolster. You basically give an ally of yours within your sensor range a system boost, giving them +2 accuracy on the next skill check or save they made until the end of their next turn. A character can only benefit from one bolster at a time. Second, Scan, in which you detect every little detail about the target. Choose a character or object within your sensor range and line of sight, and ask the GM on one of the following, which they must answer honestly. This action is helpful if you want to know more about the target, but chances are nobody is actually gonna use it in combat. Either a new player is too eager to beat down on an enemy, or a veteran who actually bought the Lancer core rulebook probably memorizes the stats of every single enemy NPC so they don't even need to scan to know how to deal with them. Still, it's useful if you need it. Not everything can be solved with violence after all. Also, the info you scanned is only what you get when you scan the target. For example, if the target loses health, you won't know about it besides by guessing. Third, lock on. You light up a target within your sensor range and line of sight in everyone's targeting system, giving the target the lock-on condition. Anyone that makes an attack against the same target may choose to consume the lock-on for +1 accuracy. Afterward, the lock-on is gone. Fourth, Invade, is where you tactically hack an enemy's system. To invade, you choose a target within your sensor range and line of sight and make a tech attack against them. In case you didn't catch it, Invade is the only option out of all that requires a successful tech attack. All other options succeed automatically. On hit, the target takes 2 heat, and you can choose one of the invasion options available to you to impose an effect onto the target. This is the primary usage of Invade, to debuff the target and cause them massive pain in every possible way. At default, however, you only have one invasion option, Fragment Signal, which causes your target to be impaired and slowed until the end of their next turn. Pretty damn powerful. You could also invade a willing ally of yours because some invasion options can be surprisingly beneficial. In this case, you succeed automatically, it doesn't count as an attack, and your ally does not take heat. Moving back to the more normal actions in alphabetical order, we got Ram. Ram lets you ram a target to knock them back and down. To ram, make a melee attack against a character that's same size or smaller than you. On hit, the target gets knocked prone and you may choose to knock them back by 1/2, directly away from you. Primary usage of ram is to knock character away to break engagement or grapple, or prepare them for even more close range violence because prone character is easier to hit. And as you have noticed, ram isn't good against character larger than you, which also means a larger character can benefit from this. If you want to find a hidden character, you can use the search action. To search, pick a character you suspected to be hidden within your sensor range, which can be made obvious by the fact that they can dodge bullets like fucking Matrix. After that, both of you make a contested agility check, and upon success, you find the character and break their hidden status, allowing you to shoot them. And finally, Skirmish, basically the quick action that allows you to, actually shoot people with your gun. It's funny how the actual basic action got pushed so far back in the video. Anyway, with Skirmish, you choose a single weapon and attack the target with it. If the weapon happens to have an additional auxiliary weapon in the same mount, then you can fire it at the same target too. However, this extra auxiliary weapon cannot use bonus damage. Also, super heavy weapon cannot be used with a skirmish action, only with barrage, unless stated otherwise. So, I was planning to finish all of actions in one episode, but then it actually got a lot longer than I thought. Hopefully, in the next video, I will fully cover the rest of the action like full actions and reactions. Anyway, I will see you all next time.